What's up, nerds? The overwhelming and unrelenting cascade of leftists that are constantly trying to cancel JK Rowling for her transphobic views continues. But this time they're getting a big you from HBO, who says we're keeping JK Rowling on and she can have her own personal views. Now, we've known this for a long time, but it seems like we've confirmed that JK Rowling has reached the status of being uncancelable. And I want to get into it. I want to talk about JK Rowling again because HBO has finally come out and defended her. And as we know, HBO is developing a TV series adaptation of Harry Potter. And JK Rowling has been working closely with all the creatives on that project, as you would hope, given that she is the author of the Harry Potter books. Now, this has been much to the disappointment of all the leftists who have currently labeled JK Rowling as a TERF, a trans exclusionary radical feminist. That is all because JK Rowling has made it abundantly clear over the last few years that she believes men are men and women are women. And those boundaries and that binary should be respected. Now, the Harry Potter book series is the best-selling book series of all time. And because of that, there's a wide-ranging audience. Now, in that audience are many radical leftists. And those radical leftists would love to see nothing more than J.K. Rowling canceled, even though she's contributed so much to literature and the society at large. Now, J.K. Rowling has really built an empire for herself. There's the Harry Potter book franchise, the movies, the theme parks, the merchandise, the video games. I mean, it's a never ending when it comes to this book series. And it's interesting because there seems to be a split on the Harry Potter timeline. I mean, when it comes to all these projects, there's before J.K. Rowling was open about her views, and then after she was open. And everybody was in love with Harry Potter before J.K. Rowling was open about her views. They were reading the books, going to the theme parks, and buying merch like it was going out of style. I know I was and still am. And as soon as she was open about how she felt about the trans identity and gender theory, things took a dramatic turn. I mean, people were burning books, which is ridiculous, and they were throwing out their wands, and they were covering up their tattoos, and they were calling to boycott all further J.K. Rowling projects. Angry Harry Potter fans attempted to boycott Hogwarts Legacy, the Harry Potter video game, but it ended up being the best-selling video game of 2023. Also, the Harry Potter theme parks are expanding and adding new rides and experiences, and now J.K. Rowling has a Harry Potter HBO series that's going to be coming out, and people are pissed. Now, they tried to throw this vitriol at HBO and get them to make a movement in the direction of separating themselves from J.K. Rowling, but that didn't work because now they have issued this statement from HBO, and it says, J.K. Rowling has the right to express her personal views. We will remain focused on the development of the new series, which will only benefit from her involvement. Scandal! You mean J.K. Rowling has more to offer the Harry Potter TV series than some random weirdo on Twitter whose greatest creative writing achievement is a 250 character zinger on lesbian dance theory and intersectional feminism? And of course, these statements do not come without backlash. I mean, many have responded to HBO, and they are upset that J.K. Rowling is still involved in a series based off the books that she wrote. So Nicole says, funny how transphobia is always a personal view or a difference of opinion. I guarantee if she was spouting anti-Semitism or racism the way she does transphobia, it'd be another story. Oh, okay. First of all, J.K. Rowling is not transphobic. She's simply telling the truth. The reason she's even in this mess is because she came out in defense of the word woman, rather than using phrases like menstruating persons or person who menstruates, which is common sense. Oh. And if you look into most of the discussion that J.K. Rowling has had on the topic of trans issues, most of it revolves around the protection of women and their rights to their spaces, their privacy, their safety. It has nothing to do with trying to be transphobic. And that goes for most of us who talk about these issues. And if that gets us labeled as transphobic turfs, then I guess so be it. I'll proudly wear that label. And in case you haven't read any of JK Rowling's statements and you're just here to call her transphobe without knowing her true stance on these issues, let me read you a quick quote from her. If sex isn't real, there's no same sex attraction. If sex isn't real, the lived reality of women globally is erased. I know and love trans people, but erasing the concept of sex removes the ability of many to meaningfully discuss their lives. It is in hate to speak the truth. So, in that statement, she talks about wanting to protect women in their experiences. She talks about protecting LG and B people. And she goes on to say that she loves trans people. So, what more do you want from this woman other than for her to bow down and walk on eggshells for your personal ideology? But of course, there are more responses. Let's get into it. HBO standing with JK Rowling despite her rampant transphobia is absolutely disgusting. I couldn't care less about a Harry Potter reboot regardless, but their support of dangerous transphobe is disgraceful and just cements my utter contempt for the show. There really wasn't a point there and an argument anywhere in that. Plus, they were already saying they weren't going to watch the show and they don't like JK Rowling. So I guess they just wanted to substantiate for the world to see. And I guess that worked because he got over 9,000 likes.
It's over 9,000!
This is no argument tweet, and it's so interesting to me that they find JK Rowling more dangerous than the issues that she's discussing in the many posts she's made on this topic. And go check it out. Go look at her profile and read what she has to say. But more importantly than that, read the different things that she's sourcing to show you what's happening in the real world. And then upon doing that, decide what is more dangerous. JK Rowling in her words or the real life victimization of women that is happening in reality. JK Rowling has done nothing wrong. JK Rowling is doing a service to women right now for standing up against stuff that is completely erasing the existence of women. And to think that she is somehow not a feminist, when I think of feminist at least the good sense, the healthy sense of the word, I think of someone like JK Rowling. And that is why I stand with JK Rowling. And of course, I couldn't look into the responses to this HBO controversy without heading over to the leftist echo chamber that is Blue Sky. So let's read a few from there. Future generations will study the vast impacts of JK Rowling legitimizing and enabling the transphobia culture war and how it catalyzed the resurgence of conservatism on a global scale. After reading that, all I am thinking right now is, yes, this is what I want. I truly hope that JK Rowling's decision to use her significant platform to speak out on these issues sparks a resurgence of conservatism. Not necessarily in the broader political sense, as you don't have to subscribe to every ideology associated with the label. But if conservatism means respecting the biological sex binary between men and women, safeguarding women's spaces, their privacy, their sports, their safety, and their right to exist with a clear definition of what it means to be a woman, then yes, a resurgence of conservatism is not only necessary, but crucial. And mind you, JK Rowling is not even a conservative. Far from it. That's not how she identifies. And aren't you guys all about respecting identity? But really, the point here is that JK Rowling looks like a conservative to these people because the left has moved so far that they have left all the reasonable people behind. And now those reasonable people look conservative because of how far they've shifted. And I have that in my own personal life as well. JK Rowling has always identified as a feminist and a classical liberal. But now you guys are calling her a conservative because you have retreated, left to your blue sky echo chamber, and you can no longer see where people are actually positioned. And instead of taking a step back and doing some self-reflection, you just look at the people who stand on the outside and say, you're wrong, you're transphobic. And now I guess that includes HBO. Here's a response from Jesse, such an obnoxious content creator. HBO waiting until they saw the culture had shifted to a more overt transphobia to overtly stand behind JK Rowling and doing it on Trans Day of Remembrance showcases how cruel and cowardly they are. Which is interesting. We're seeing this sentiment on the left that HBO now feels comfortable because the general culture that's been created surrounding transness and the trans identity. But on the right, people are cheering on HBO for probably a similar reason. Let's read a tweet. Ugh, Grums, he's gross. HBO would not have been caught dead saying this 6 months ago. The tide is turning. So the same message, but two different reasonings. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. HBO is not coming out and defending JK Rowling because the culture has become increasingly transphobic, and they now feel comfortable to do so. That's not what's happening here. I also don't think that HBO has woken up and become based or conservative with the flip of a switch. HBO is doing what's within their best interest to defend JK Rowling because JK Rowling is going to make them a lot of money, like all the monies and everything. And I wholeheartedly believe that if this was a lesser creator who was going out online and sharing a very same viewpoint that JK Rowling has been posting publicly, they'd be gone like that. JK Rowling has found herself in an amazing spot as a famous person and a creative. She has built up enough capital that it doesn't matter what she does on the other end of it. The return on investment is there no matter what. And HBO knows this. And that's why they're defending her in this statement. And it's not because they care about what she has to say. And it's not because they are also advocates for women's rights and protecting women's spaces. It's because they want their money. And they've already put an overwhelming amount of money into adapting this Harry Potter TV series. And they know it's going to make them way more on the back end, as JK Rowling always does with virtually any project that has to do with anything she's created. It seems like in this case, HBO isn't prioritizing left leaning ideology over the storyline or the content they're creating. And sure, that's one way to approach it, but in almost every other instance, HBO is clearly pushing its own agenda and political views onto its audience. If anything, a lot of the stories that I've covered on JK Rowling has shown me the sort of dark nature that exists within Hollywood and the entertainment space. It's pretty unfortunate that in order to stand your ground and speak your mind while also creating and entertaining, you need a platform as massive as hers or a social status that big. How many talented creatives are we missing out on because of this? I'm sure many feel that they have to silence themselves while working on projects afraid of being canceled. Then there are probably others who don't even enter the industry because they refuse to conform to the ideology they are expected to follow. It makes me wonder, were there times in JK Rowling's career when she wanted to speak out and take a more controversial stance, but held back because she wasn't untouchable yet? Because clearly she is now. These are all questions we should be asking ourselves. And beyond those questions, I have some hopes. I have hope with JK Rowling coming forward and talking about these things so openly and fearlessly that she encourages other people like myself who are in different stages of their career to do the same. Because it's going to take more action like this to make people realize that we are allowed to have diversity of opinion. It is not dangerous to have it. JK Rowling is not a transphobe for expressing the views she's shared. Creativity doesn't evolve, and our lives don't improve if people aren't willing to be brave and stand up for what they believe in, regardless of the political debates, arguments, and controversial issues that may come with it. When you create a compelling story that resonates with people, tapping into deeper human truths and helping them see something new about themselves or the world, it transcends everything. There's not much anyone can do to change that. JK Rowling has proved it. And that's why HBO is standing beside her and not the angry ideologues attempting to cancel her on the internet. But those are my thoughts on that, you guys. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. I love to hear from you guys on all things. But go ahead and tell me what you think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind. If you're new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next video. You guys have a good day. Bye.